Rocket League, I hate to say it, but it's so over. I'm just joking. After the initial hype train, Season 18 dropped almost a week ago. We all flocked to our favourite sports game in existence, and well, we went to see what all the talk was all about. Now personally, how I feel, I'm pleasantly surprised. Because usually the process is a bad season is released with a bad map and mediocre rewards as usual. People are disappointed, and you rinse and repeat this for every single season almost. But something feels a little bit different about Season 18. Okay, let's start with the map, Futura Garden. Can I just say this map is making me feel ways I haven't even felt before for Rocket League map. It just reminds me of that one meme where it says, the world when X thing finally happens, or whatever. Like Futura Garden just gives me the impression of a world where Epic Games is basically an even nicer version of Steam, Psyonix haven't been downsized into oblivion, and we finally have developers that could give a shit about the game. Don't get me wrong, we're still literal light years away from seeing an Epic Games redemption arc, but this map just gives me this weird hope about the game I didn't even know I had. Then you have this new fancy schmancy sound for the goalpost they added. You know, I was full of reservations and fears about how goofy this is gonna sound, but guess what? I actually love this stupid sound. There's something magical about bashing the ball violently against the crossbar. The sound just makes me feel so satisfied and I can't even explain why. Maybe I'm on the spectrum, who even knows at this point? I mean, I probably am, so I'm just gonna keep quiet. So already just 2 small additions and I'm feeling happy about the new season. But then you have the new mutators, and god, they actually listened for once. This is what they delivered. Low gravity balls, you got it. Multiple balls in the field, at last. We can finally play dodgeball with friends. What is going on? Why are we even getting good updates? I thought we were supposed to stick with a boost indicator and a new demo cam for the rest of eternity. I guess the only thing I'm kind of concerned about is this whole voice reporting that's being rolled out, because when there's a system such as voice chat reporting, it's probably going to be dangerous to make risky jokes. Now don't get me wrong, I get it, people want a family-friendly experience, but at the end of the day, not everyone is 11 and we know some people will end up abusing the system anyways. But again, you know what? It's fine. I can move past this without caring too much. Ironically, my whole nonchalant attitude to Rocket League nowadays just reminds me of this one comment I got on this video I made, which basically called me nihilist. Probably because I said in this video that I don't care that seriously about the state of the game as much as I used to. Guys and gals, believe it or not, it's car soccer. Not everything revolves around it. But once again, let's remain on the positives of Season 18. They released a pretty nice rocket pass from my POV because, honestly, I love the Dodge Charger. Will I end up buying it? Probably not, but I can see why others would, and honestly, it looks kind of sick. Of course, to some extent, we can exaggerate about things, and as we know, YouTubers tend to clickbait and blow everything out of proportion. But this time, I can see some of the hype for the season. It doesn't seem like there's much to be hyped about at first, but when you're a part of the Rocket League community, you're so used to seeing like one update every millennia, usually a tiny graphical update which your own consciousness doesn't perceive. I remember when people hyped up a literal boost indicator. Yes, a tiny circle with a white bar inside. So yeah, I think this update in comparison to things like that was pretty big. Now time to get into something a little more spicy. A few days before Season 18 was released, the hype train started with Jamaican Coconut hinting at big things that are coming to Season 18. Then cue the speculation and of course the clickbait, and I want to take this pick a pixel video for example. We get it, bro. You want trading back and some other people want it back, but just let it go, dude. It's Jover. It's never been more unlikely for trading to come back. It's been so long without it already that unfortunately it's not something that is needed in this game anymore. I'm saying this as someone who was a huge believer that there were signs of it coming back, but it's just not happening. Let's stop. The only realistic way that they would backtrack on this would be if Epic Games literally changes their approach entirely. So one EU LA term isn't going to change that, neither will Psyonix. Now there was a decent reaction to Season 18, but as usual, there's gotta be something to complain about. Like this Reddit post, which for the record I find Reddit to be a hilarious place to get reactions from, and I quote, "We live in a timeline where a sound effect is a major part of an update." Like, what are they supposed to do? Just hide the update from the update notes? So one day I'm just playing Rocket League and I hear this random ping sound that they didn't inform me about. And here's another argument around the season. The major updates weren't exactly major. I mean, I don't disagree, but it's literally car soccer, as I've said before. Do people want rocket-powered missiles they can launch out of your car's ass? Because if I'm being honest, there aren't that many things you can touch in the core gameplay at the moment. Look, if we're being serious, Season 18 very simply gave us the minimum that most expected, and probably a little bit better even. See, the real problem that this game is facing isn't just the additions or the lack of additions in the long run, it's that they don't communicate well enough with us. We've said this before so many times, and I'll always stand by the fact that Psyonix have literally just sat there, took all the shit without responding, ditched their communication, haven't bothered to even notify us what Psyonix is looking like after the layoffs, what's the plan going forward, etc, etc. This is what I hope changes after Season 18, the communication. Because as much as this season has had some cute additions and a more positive outlook, if Psyonix just decide to disappear again until June and leave you on red for 3 months like your crush, then what is the point? What I'm saying is, Rocket League is almost at the point where it can't have major updates from this point on, and aside from some cool maps, cool sounds and whatnot, there isn't much more to add, unless it's something huge like Unreal Engine 5 or Rocket League Creative Mode. But now that we've covered some of the discourse and overall reception for the new season, where can Rocket League go from here then? That's a very good question. Season 18 in my opinion was a really nice step forward, but I'd say we're still a few steps away from putting Rocket League back to the early days of free-to-play hype. I also still don't really understand where the overall direction of the game is headed. Like, is the closest thing to an Unreal Engine 5 port that we're going to see just be a terrible rocket racing game? Or is there more to that? I want to believe that this season can snowball into something bigger, and then maybe one day we'll see something like custom map creation become a real thing, so that we don't have to wait for sick maps such as Futura Garden to come out once every few seasons. This is the kind of stuff that would bag them the nastiest thumbs up from the community in my opinion, but with that being said, there's still something that we all need to realize at some point, and just accept. This game has always relied on its core gameplay as much as possible. This alone has physically and virtually restricted Psyonix from experimenting with the game and adding outlandish things. Quite simply, Rocket League is so unique that it can't afford to be tampered with too much. Otherwise, it could very likely turn into a game which just would not resemble Rocket League in the slightest. Of course, your average Joe wants updates, new cool flashy things every single week, but this game isn't Fortnite and will never be like Fortnite. It's that simple. Now, if people want to complain about Smurfs and broken matchmaking for the quintillionth time, then they can go ahead, and I guess they might have a point, but personally I just want to move away from repeating the same stuff over and over again, season in, season out. I'm just tired of it. My technique for dealing with whatever BS the game throws at me nowadays is quite simple. I've lowered my expectations, I only play the game when I really want to, and the second I get tilted, I alt F4 and move on with my life. I'm a simple guy, and I'd suggest you do the same rather than tilt Q into eternity while you think of slurs to shout at Epic about their servers. What I'm saying is, just make your own mind up about Rocket League, don't blindly follow the popular opinion, and above all, enjoy the game at your own pace. Seriously, no one's forcing you to play this game every single day. Before we wrap up the video, shout out to Termination. He's a really cool guy and it's obviously tuned into the videos. But now it's time to wrap up the video. Thank you guys for watching, and above all, have a great day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.